away. Hopefully. And hopefully everything works as it should with the stream. Hopefully. Oof. Yep, audio's working, stream's up, chat's up, are all good to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, hello everyone and welcome to round 15, the championship finale of the PlayStation Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm LaneEveringham, your lead commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Ever since its introduction to the Formula One world in 2021, Jeddah has become recognised as one of the most demanding, dramatic and controversial race tracks on the calendar. The circuit, designed by Carsten Tilke, son of Hermann Tilke, is 6.17 kilometres long and consists of 27 corners, the most of any racetrack on this schedule. Of those 27 corners, the majority of them are high to medium speed sweepers. The most noteworthy of those are the demanding S's in the first sector, formed by turns 4 through 12. The circuit also features 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking areas of turn 1, turn 22 and turn 27. These will be major areas for us to look out for during the race. Now, before we focus on this qualifying session here, there's a little bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Australia. Only a single incident report that resulted in no further action. That report was delivered by ACW. Now, the biggest story going into this event is the Drivers' Championship and how this is all going to unfold. Ferrari Pro is leading the way on 306 points, followed by Marcus Costa on 271. 35 points separate the top two in the Drivers' Championship, making it mathematically possible for Marcus Costa to still have a chance to win this championship, but he needs 2 really good races here at Saudi Arabia because this is a sprint round. We've got 2 races here, 41 points available all up. For Ferrari Pro, it's pretty simple. All he needs to do is score 7 points in both races and he's wrapped up the championship and he'll become a back-to-back 2-time Elite Series Drivers Champion. Third in the Drivers' Championship is Plevs on 196, followed by Spicy on 195. Only 1 point separating those two, so the battle is well and truly on for third place in the drivers' standings. Next is Bags Liddell and P5 on 177. Equal 7th is Silderfort and Vengeance, followed by ACW on 147, then Pump on 127, and Roscoe Arm rounds out the top 10 on 111 points. In the Constructors, Williams have wrapped up the title on 421 points. They've got an uncatchable lead over Ferrari, who are on 345. Next is Mercedes on 342. So the battle for the top spot might be done and dusted, but the battle for P2 is well and truly on, and especially when you include the fact that McLaren are 4th in the Constructors on 323, only 22 points behind Ferrari. So the battle is well and truly on for second place. Next is Aston Martin on 225, followed by Red Bull on 209, then AlphaTauri on 178, Haas on 138, Alfa Romeo on 98, and then completing the table is Alpine on 83 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. Now introduce my co-commentator for tonight, who is once again KD 1997. KD, you've spent a little bit of time racing around this racetrack. What are your general thoughts about this Jeddah Corniche circuit?
Well, thanks for having me again for this final round, but Jeddah, well, you've pretty much categorized it every single way. It's very demanding sort of circuit. The first sector obviously is definitely more of a wheel friendly area of the racetrack, considering that it's very technical, very fast. But yeah, the drivers though, you're definitely gonna need some low downforce, especially the fact that you're on throttle for about over 8% of the time, as a matter of fact. So yeah, that's gonna be something you have to keep wary of. But yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't like the design of it. That's just a personal thing, because it looks like a bedded knife if you look at the track map of how it's shaped. But yeah, like I said, It's a very demanding circuit, but we'll see what happens. It does get close to qualifying from what I've seen in previous times racing here at Jeddah, too.
Now, this circuit poses a unique characteristic where you could theoretically use a higher downforce setup or a low downforce setup. The higher downforce setup would definitely help during qualifying, and it will help you find speed in the first sector in particular. But a low downforce setup would help you in the race and help you find speed, especially in the final part of the racetrack. KD, what would be your preference here at this circuit?
My personal preference, well, for these cars, it's a bit tricky, but I'd say definitely go for low downforce setup, just because of the amount of straights you have, especially in the back area of the circuit, and of course the main straight, which is quite long. So yeah, I think maybe the low downforce setup could help. Just a tad bit of front wing would help a little bit though in the first sector, just to help you get better turning, obviously, because like we said, it's very demanding and very fast. So yeah, that's basically what I would do.
Fair enough. Because yeah, I could see a few drivers trying a higher downforce setup to try and extract speed during qualifying through that first sector. But obviously, we've seen on a few occasions at a few different racetracks, when drivers tend to use that higher downforce setup, they're seriously compromised in the race in terms of trying to find straight line performance and trying to make moves as well. Because obviously in the first sector, it's such a fast part of the racetrack, and it's basically got one racing line, and as a result, you can't make moves through it at all. You have to rely on other parts of the racetrack to try and find your way through. But of course, if you fully utilize a high downforce setup and get the most out of it during qualifying, then you don't necessarily have to worry about overtaking because you're already at the front. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what some of the drivers do. I have talked to a couple of guys in the past, and a lot of them have suggested what you would do, KD, is use a lower downforce setup. So yeah, it would be interesting nonetheless. And currently, at the top of the table is our championship leader, Ferrari Pro, with a 1 minute 29.013. He is 4 hundredths in front of ACW in P2. Then it's a fairly decent sized gap back to P3, a 1 minute 29.995. That is currently being set by Whitey in the Alpine. Tell you what, I'm going to take advantage of this. Spicy is going to come around the final corner, turn 27. I'm going to ride on board, give you a guided tour of this 6.1 kilometre Jeddah Corniche circuit. Down the main straightaway, crossing the finish line and up towards turn 1. Big braking zone here. Down to second, I would think. No, down to fourth for turn 1 and fourth for turn 2. Interesting. I would tend to use second through here as he comes through the left-hander of turn 3 and up towards the beginning of the S's. Turn 4. Oh, he missed the apex there. You can get a bit closer to the wall. Around turn 5 into turn 6. Up towards turn 7, turn 8, and now turn 9. You see how much throttle modulation you need through here as he makes his way out of turns 10, 11, and 12. Now up towards turn 13, this long left-hand sweeper. It is very long. You have to be so careful when you're applying the accelerator. You don't want to apply it too early through that corner. Through turn 14 into 15. Now the chicane of 16 and 17. Could have been a little bit more committed through there, I would think, but it's a nice, tidy lap so far from Spicy as he makes his way around turn 20, around turn 21, and into this fast chicane of 22 and 23. With hints of understeer from what I can tell from Spicy's car as he opens DRS and heads around turn 25, up towards turn 26, and into turn 27. One of the better overtaking spots on the circuit. It's also the final corner on this racetrack. A bit of a wiggle on the exit as you'll open DRS again. Easy Mac goes to the top with a 28.8. Spicy will do a 29 flat. He is the 4th driver to do a 29 flat. Ferrari Pro, himself, Plevs, and ACW are all within the same 10th.
Yeah, and of course, with it being a sprint format, you're probably not expecting so much rubber, especially for it being a street circuit. So, I mean, if it was like normal qualifying, I think the times would be like a little bit quicker than what we're seeing. But that makes sense why we're seeing times currently in the either low 29s or even what EasyMac has done, a high 28, at least for now.
No, that's a brilliant point to make, and a point that I completely glossed over when preparing for commentary, you're absolutely right. Because this is a sprint format, there is less rubber on the racetrack. It is incredibly surprising that Codemasters would bother to implement something like that into the coding. But no, credit to Codemasters, because that's absolutely true. Because in real life, there would be only one practice session done on the racetrack, and then the drivers would be sent out for qualifying. Whereas usually it would be 3 sessions of practice, then qualifying. So yeah, there's significantly less rubber, and as a result, the lap times are nowhere near as quick as what they normally are.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Costa here, the man who was second in the Drivers' Championship. He needs a big round here if he wants to try and take the Drivers' Championship away from Ferrari Pro. He's got that 35-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. It's going to be next to impossible for Costa to catch up unless he has a really superb round here at Jeddah. He's heading up towards the chicane of turn 16 and 17. You need a lot of commitment through there, and that's a more typical racing line. You'll see the drivers cutting a lot of the racetrack as we have another driver go into the 29 flats. Look at that, it's pumped now in the McLaren. How many drivers? 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 cars in the same 10th. P2 to P7.
I keep an eye on Costa because I think he's definitely looking good. He's purple to the first 2 sectors.
Here we go. Into the final corner. Down through the gears. Down to 4th gear. Nicely on the power. Then he eventually reaches full throttle just as soon as he exited the corner. Up towards the line for Costa. It's a 28. 3, 6, 7. Hooey, he's found some time.
That's actually quick for a sprint format. I'm not going to lie. That's really quick.
Ferrari Pro has found time here to the middle sector as Silderford has left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin shortly. Ferrari Pro jumps up to P2, 28.588. Still 0.2 of a second off Marcus Costa's pole time. Just putting it into perspective of how good that lap was. Costa, that's what he needs. He needs to be towards the front. What he doesn't need is his main rival to be directly behind him. He needs Ferrari Pro to have a poor race here, realistically.
Yeah, basically you have to finish, like, what, below the top 5, if I'm correct, points-wise?
Pretty much.
In order to keep the championship alive?
I think if Marcus Costa doesn't outscore Ferrari Pro by at least 3 points. I mean, if it's 4 points and the gap reduces to 31, then there might be some count-back gimmicks that we have to worry about. But, yeah, at a bare minimum, if Marcus Costa doesn't outscore Ferrari Pro by 3, that's it. And by 3, that would mean P4.
Gotcha.
So, Ferrari Pro, so long as he finishes on the podium, that's it. It's all done. Ferrari Pro, it looks like he's making his way back into the pits. We've got a lot of drivers waiting in the pit lane. Because it's such a lengthy lap, you do have to be very conscious of the qualifying clock. Because out-laps and in-laps do take a very, very long time. So you do need to be very conscious of it. Roscoe is taking advantage of the clear track. He is out on track right now on an out-lap. He'll be getting his tyres up to temperature, getting himself ready. NZ Andre is moving himself back into the pits. And with the time left on the clock, he should have enough to bolt on it. Oh, he's run out of fuel though. Yeah, it's going to be a slow crawl through this final sector for Andre. Yeah, it's going to be tight with the clock. See how he fares towards the end of the session. Neck out on track, getting himself ready. Same with Easy Mac, who is currently P3. Keep an eye on Roscoe here. He's about to set a flying lap. He's making his way through the final sector up towards the final corner. He will switch on his battery very, very shortly. He'll get himself ready for what could be his final flying lap attempt in this qualifying session. Down the main straightaway, there is Andres Haas moving into the pit lane with just under 3.5 minutes. Oh! Roscoe's coming back in. Don't know why he's doing that. He's coming back in. I guess he'll have one extra set of soft tyres available to him. He'll try and bolt them on as quick as possible and get back out there. Try and set a lap in some slightly better conditions. In that case, it will be Nick, I believe, who will set the first flying lap when we have less than 3 minutes left in this qualifying session. Nick, yet to set a lap time in this session, is currently P15 and last. Through turns 1 and 2, nice and steady, short shifting up to 4th gear on the exit. There is Marcus Costa leaving the pit lane as yellow flags are out. That's Easy Mac taking it very easy around the final corner, getting himself ready for his flying run. Through the first sector goes Nick, through turn 8, up towards turn 9. He was very close to exceeding track limits there. Through 10, 11, into turn 12, and up towards the left-hand sweeper of turn 13. Down through the gears, down to 4th gear here. Short shifts up to 5th, as Silderford has left the session again, so he's having connection issues. Around turn 14, up towards turn 15, and then the right-left of 16 and 17, modulating the throttle nicely, getting very comfortable to the wall there on the outside of turn 16. Through turn 20, around the right-hander of turn 21, and up towards the far chicane of turns 22 and 23. Chucks it in, uses a healthy amount of curb. The car looks stable, car looks pretty good. Opens DRS and heads around turn 24, up towards 25 and 26. And then the final hairpin of turn 27. Hard on the brakes, down to 4th gear. Does he short shift? The answer is no. He will use all of 4th gear on the exit there. Might get a small toe from his teammate in front. And I mean very, very small toe. Nick crosses the line. It's a 29 flat. Another driver setting a 29 flat.
My goodness. I'm sorry if you were trying to talk to me. I'm sorry. I got interrupted by something, so that's okay. Why I was... Yeah. Yeah, while you were watching the lap, I noticed ACW destroyed his, his winglets on his front wing, so...
Oh, no.
Yeah, he crashed, he spawned at the first sector. But, on my end, I don't know if you were looking at it, but, you see the end plates, but you don't see the fins of the front wing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It is really ridiculous how that all works. With the front wings on Mercedes, there was a recent bug introduced that Codemasters made. So Ferrari Pro, meanwhile, is up by over a 10.5 to the first sector, so he's found a considerable amount of time. Marcus Costa has found a little bit of time to the first sector, I did notice. He's making his way through the middle sector now. He'll open DRS and head towards the critical turns of 22 and 23. But what does the clock say to the middle sector? He's found time. He's found almost 2/10 to the middle sector. But what about Ferrari Pro, our championship leader? The clock says he's lost time. He's down by 44 thousandths of a second. Costa, one corner to negotiate. The hairpin of turn 27, down to 4th gear, back on the accelerator, nice and comfortable on the exit there. No wheel spin, no oversteer, no nothing from the Williams. Costa crosses the line. It's a 28.1. Ferrari Pro, meanwhile, will open DRS and head up towards the line himself. It's a 28.6. He does not improve.
Yeah, he lost the back end as well coming out of the final corner when I watched him too, so that also cost him a bit of time. Ponto's on the left though.
Into the wall, I think, was a Haas there. Was that Hilles? Oh no, it was Andre.
No, it was Andre.
He hit the wall pretty hard there at the exit of turn 16. Destroyed the front wing. So his qualifying session is done.
Pumping Wells up by a 10th of a second to the middle sector.
He's making his way through the final sector now, up towards the final corner. Plevs as well, making his way out of the final corner. The two McLarens, P5 and P6, as it stands. Plevs, does he improve? No, he does not improve. Stays P6 for now, as Pump, he'll cross the line to set a 28.7. Stays P5, missing out on improving by not much at all. Roscoe jumps up to P7 with a, you guessed it, a 29.0. He is 1,000th of a second quicker than ACW in P8.
Wow. Well, close qualifying, but in the most unorthodox way, I guess you could say.
No bloody grip is the response from ACW, so yeah, that is expected, as we were talking about earlier, with the conditions set during a sprint round. But yeah, not much separating a fair few of these guys. We saw a lot of guys enter the 29 zeros. Saw quite a few drivers, and we still have 5 in there as well. With Plevs, Roscoe Arm, ACW, Nick, and Bags Liddell. They're separated by less than 0.04 of a second. Ridiculously tight, especially when you consider this is a 6.1 kilometer racetrack with 27 turns. That's close.
Yeah, it's close, and yeah, but it's also fast too.
Absolutely.
So that also, yeah.
Speaking of not so close, so Marcus Costa, pole position, a 28.160, beating a 28.587. Just over 4 tenths separating the top two at the end of qualifying. Spicy P3, followed by Easy Mac, Pump, Plevs, Roscoe Arm, ACW, Nick. Bags Liddell rounds out the top 10, followed by Hilles, Whitey, Andre, Marvelant, and Silderford will start from the very back. A last to first challenge from Silderford, as he says in the comments section. Fair enough, we'll see how you fare. Hopefully the connection stops screwing you over. You can have a nice, faultless race.
And Roscoe's also given us a weather report in the Discord. Would you like to guess what it is?
Is it dry, Mr. KD?
Ding, ding, ding. Correct.
Oh, what a surprise. It's almost as if we're in the Middle East or something.
I know, right? It's not like we're in the middle of the desert.
In fairness, there has been occasions where it has rained here at this circuit. And I have witnessed races in the Middle East where it has rained on dynamic weather, so it is definitely possible. Yeah, 14% chance of rain, ACW. Allow me to rearrange that. It is an 86% chance of being dry. That's what that means.
Pretty much.
That's what that means.
Yeah, I know. I remember we talked about that before. It was at Abu Dhabi from another league you did.
And it was during the race as well. We had intermediate conditions, and I double-checked whether or not it was dynamic weather, and it was dynamic weather. And I'll remember that for all time, because I have never seen that before in a single-player race or in a lobby, multiplayer lobby, where we actually had wet weather conditions from dynamic weather. It was quite insane. So everyone's on the medium, surely. Yeah, everyone's on the medium, so we don't need to bring up that graphic. Probably talk about the top two here, shall we? They're the two championship protagonists. Marcus Costa will lead the way, and Ferrari Pro just behind him. Ferrari Pro doesn't need to do much from his position, other than just keep up with Costa. That's all he really needs to do.
Yep, and just not fall a couple positions.
Yep.
And he's got the championship there and dusted in the sprint.
Really super unfortunate what happened with Costa, missing out on a round thanks to the huge storms down at Adelaide, but unfortunately that's just bad luck, and you can't really do much about it. In some cases that's just racing. Sometimes there are things that are out of your control that seriously impede not only races but championships as well.
Yeah, I know that because I've missed 6 in total, and a couple of them have been sprint rounds too this season.
But,
well, in fairness, the first one I missed was because of a Padres game, because I'm a Padre fan, so of course I would miss that. Others were out of my control.
Especially when there was a shot of them going to World Series. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Evening, Prezzo. Nice to see you in the chat.
Hello, Prezzo.
Hopefully these boys will put on a nice show for everybody. We can enjoy our Sunday evening. Not the biggest field in the world either. 15 cars. It's still a healthy sized field, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a fair bit of drama, especially around this racetrack. It's notorious for drama, especially because of how demanding the circuit is. If you make even the slightest mistake, as you can see around the racetrack, the concrete walls are but inches away. So you make a mistake, you're having a meet and greet with them. So, and they're not too friendly. So,
Mick Schumacher could tell you that too.
absolutely. He gave that wall at turn 11 a big old hug.
Yep.
Wall didn't like it though. It didn't like to be touched. So, alrighty. So for the second last race for the Elite Series Championship, a sprint race here at Jeddah. 9 laps. Very short race, but hopefully there is plenty of intensity and plenty of action out on track. Here we go. All 15 cars are lined up ready to race. We have 10 red lights and the sprint is underway. It's a nice start from the top 2. Ferrari Pro has a hole shot down the inside that is covered off by Costa. Into turn 1 we go. Contact and spinning goes Spicy in the Mercedes. He drops down to 15th position. Oh, dearie me. All that hard work in qualifying has gone down the drain. I see an M plate flying off.
There was a Haas end plate.
Oh, it must be Andre's. Has to be.
Yep. I think Spicy might got tagged from Easy Map from what it looked like to me into turn 1.
Oh, no, it's Hillers. He's missing the end plate. He's missing a left-hand side end plate on that Haas in P8. So he's going to be absolutely stranded. Here comes Nick down the inside to take position. Oh, almost contact between the two cars there.
Gee whiz. And ACW, though, has gained 3 spots, if I'm correct. Started 7th, he's up to 4th. What a brilliant start from the Mercedes-Benz driver.
4 spots. Close enough, though.
Or 8th, sorry, but yes.
No, ACW has done quite a nice job keeping out of the way of the carnage on the opening lap. The person who's been absolutely shafted off the line is Spicy in the Mercedes, down 10 places in 13th position. Ferrari Pro is closing in on the race leader here into turn 27, but he's in no position yet to try and attack as Whitey moves by Hillez. And Silderford moves by as well. Big old lock up there from the Red Bull driver as he draws alongside Whitey down the main straightaway. Who's got the longer legs here as Hillez is trying to pull into the pit lane. We have a drag race on between a Red Bull and an Alpine heading towards turn 1. Who's got the longer legs? It appears to be the Red Bull of Silderford. He's into P10. He's made up 5 spots on this opening lap, so he's had a pretty nice start as well.
Not too bad, not too bad. Ferrari the Pro still doing a good job, at least, doing what he does need to do. That's keep up with Marcus Costa, like you mentioned before earlier.
That's all he needs to do. Well, at that, he just needs to finish on the podium in this race and it's all done. Even if Costa wins, there aren't any fastest points available in the sprint race as well, so you don't get an extra point for that. You get 10 points for a race win, 9 for second, and 8 for third, and those 8 points would be enough for Ferrari Pro, so he doesn't need to worry too much other than just keep Costa directly in front of him. Just shadow him. Just follow him. That's all you need to do.
I mean, it looks like he's got the speed to keep up as well. He's keeping up with him quite easily. He's not using much battery either, from what I can tell. So yeah, he's definitely got some straight line speed to be competitive.
Yeah, doesn't he what? He's actually downshifted there. See that? He was downshifting in a straight line. Try and slow the car down as Whitey's being overtaken here. Around the outside goes Spicy. Whitey trying to fight though. Gets decent traction in the mid part of the corner, but with Spicy's outside line, Spicy gets the traction on the exit, and as a result, he keeps P11. Whitey moves down to 12. Now, we've got a leading train forming. Marcus Costa at the front, Ferrari Pro in P2, Ples P3, ACW in 4th, followed by Easy Mac and Bags Liddell. Then it's a 1 second gap back to Pump in the other McLaren. So Pump, he needs to try and get within that 1 second range. Can't afford to not have DRS around this circuit. See Ferrari Pro there just using a little bit of battery at the exit of the S section. So he is comfortable using battery in a few places here and there, but he's still got a decent amount in reserve. How much has he got exactly? 60%. Compared to Marcus Costa, who's got 100%.
That's not surprisingly, since Marcus, as we know, is great on battery saving.
Yeah, that's... I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe 80-something, 70-something. Nah, he's got 100-something. That's what he's got. Gee whiz. He is seriously good at just knowing when to deploy battery at the right time. He's quite comfortable not using it which I can say quite confidently is something I can't do. I have to use little bits of battery here and there just to try and keep up in terms of pace. Marcus is very comfortable just waiting for the right moment to use battery like he's doing right now. He used a fair chunk down this main straight, and what it's done, it's kept Ferrari Pro at bay.
And then he did the same thing as you saw from last lap. He downshifted into 7th gear while he was going down that back straight. Well, if you want to say back straight, but yeah, just I think he was trying to line up maybe for a position to attack down the main straight. Just didn't work out probably.
But I suppose you would call it a back straight. It's on the back of the main straight, so I'll call it a back straight.
Yeah, fair enough. I just say so-called just because it has quarter numbers is why.
Gilles has had enough of this sprint. He'll retire and he'll start from the very back of the grid for the main race here at Saudi Arabia. See Ferrari Pro still directly behind. You can see Plebs and ACW and all of the rest of the train making their way through this middle sector. No one's really broken away. No one's really fallen behind. Roscoe Arm is 1.1 seconds behind Pump as the AI of Gilles' car dawdles back onto the racetrack. Opens DRS here for Ferrari Pro. He's now down to 35%. He now draws alongside and passes the Williams. Ferrari Pro takes the lead around the final corner. I'm going to hazard... Yeah, he's going to fight back, surely.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Look at the amount of battery he's using. He's got it. He'll go for a big send here, I reckon. Down the inside. Oh, no.
No. Really?
I reckon he could have pulled that off. If he wanted to.
I think so, too. Yeah, I think he could have been alongside him into the braking zone.
Fair play, I guess. He's got a battery advantage. As a bare minimum, he's got the battery advantage. So he can spend a little bit of time behind Ferrari Pro, try and follow him along as best he can, and just set himself up to try and re-overtake in another DRS zone. Probably, I don't know, maybe down the main straight again, but this time on lap 6 rather than this lap. So, Silderford gets by Nick. That is now P9 for the Red Bull driver. He is charging his way through, doing a really good job. And no obvious internet problems from Silderford's point of view. So he's doing quite nicely out there. His next target will be Roscoe Arm in the AlphaTauri, who has 0 DRS. That might be a bit of an issue. Silderford does have DRS, and he is closing. So we're going to have a battle on for P8 in a few moments' time. Meanwhile, the battle for P1, Costa closing. Pulling out of the slipstream, looking around the long way. Andre gets a penalty. Ferrari Pro compromises his line through the final corner. That will mean Costa's got a really nice run. Look at him, he's right on the back of Ferrari Pro and draws alongside and he'll slingshot by. This should be a very simple overtake, I would think.
Close. It's still somewhat alongside. That was a bit close there, front wing to rear tire.
Yeah, we have some battles going on here. We got Plebs and ACW. Haven't these two been a storyline over the course of this season? These two cannot stop touching one another throughout this entire season. They've been at each other's throats at several races, creating incidents and drama. Hopefully they can get through this race unscathed. But in saying that, I'll probably curse them and they're bound to crash at some point. So, I suppose if they do crash, it'll be my fault rather than one of their fault. So.
Oh, I think Costa hit the barrier there. I heard the little clatter there going to 16.
Front wing looks okay from what I can tell. I didn't pick up anything on my audio, but I didn't have a really decent camera angle looking at turn 16, so I wouldn't have picked it up anyway. But this car looks okay. Yellows are out. It's Andre.
Yep, at 17.
Yep. Spicy.
Spicy gets a penalty too.
Yeesh. Something you really don't want. ACW on the attack, getting by Plebs. That's a simple pass. Got him before the final corner. Ferrari Pro dumping his battery here. He'll open DRS and he switches it off. Like I said, he can play a smarter game here. He doesn't need to do anything silly. Doesn't need to battle Costa too hard. He can try and go for the race win if he wants, but he could think of the bigger picture and just secure the Drivers' Championship, which I think should be the bigger goal in mind. Meanwhile, as well, Silderford has moved into P8, overtaking Roscoe.
Mm.
Not too many battles going through the first sector, as you'd probably expect, as Andre's retired as well. Haas having a less than ideal day here at Jeddah. Hopefully they can recover in the main race. No one's really in a position to attack right now.
Yeah. One just has to not have themselves a good day.
Yeah, too true. It'll be interesting to see what kind of days they have ahead next year when they've got K-Mag and the Hulk in their team.
Yeah, that's an interesting pairing. Hulkenberg and Magnussen.
Yeah, especially the kinds of comments they've made towards one another. It will be an interesting pairing indeed. But,
yeah, if you remember, Hungary 2017 comes to mind.
Yeah. Quite an infamous exchange between the two drivers. So yeah, no, next year is going to be very interesting for Haas to see whether the two experienced drivers will actually get the results they want. Because the Haas look pretty decent this year. Both K-Mag and Mick Schumacher scoring points. But I definitely think there's a lot more potential in that Haas car for 2023. Especially if they build on this year's car. I reckon Haas would be a solid midfield contender.
I hope so, really, just for the sake of it. Since it is an American-based team, I would love to see them do well. Of course, we haven't seen that too much. But, yeah.
Ferrari Pro not in a position to attack. ACW has closed in somewhat. He's been one of the pick of the drivers in this race. Up 5 spots. From P8 now to P3. He is standing on the podium so long as he can keep his car nice and straight and out of the barriers, as he loses a little bit of time there at turn 17. Not the best of runs through that chicane complex. Another pick of the drivers is Silderford. Started last. He's now right in the middle of the pack in P8, and he's hunting down Bags Liddell as well, so we might keep an eye on that. But firstly, I like to keep an eye on the battle between the top two, and you can see there Ferrari Pro is not using DRS. He is staying behind.
I noticed too as well in the last lap he was flapping his rear wing as well.
Maybe just saying hello to his championship rival.
Or ACW, because he was close behind him before in the last lap.
That too. Down towards turn 1. Here comes Silderford. He gets by Bags Liddell. Nice simple move there using the power of DRS. And he moves himself into P7. What a race so far from Silderford. Driving superbly out there. Pump giving Mac a bit of pressure.
Absolutely.
Plebs in P4. ACW P5. Ferrari Pro right behind Marcus Costa.
Yep, and he's doing all he needs to do. Just stay on the track. And you're champion. That's all you gotta do.
That's all you gotta do. Don't need to do anything silly here. Half a lap to go in this sprint race. Costa, he's done all he can do. Put together a superb lap in qualifying. Out-qualified his championship rival by 0.4 of a second. Costa's effectively led every lap of this race. There have been a few occasions where Ferrari Pro has got ahead, but not for a significant period of time. Costa has dominated this sprint. He'll come around this final section. He's got a big enough gap in hand that he should win this sprint race. I think Ferrari Pro is too far behind, but I don't think Ferrari Pro will matter too much about that. It's been a superb season from the Ferrari driver, and with this second place result, he becomes a 2-time back-to-back Elite Series Drivers Champion. Well done, Ferrari Pro. The 2-time.
Well done indeed. Yeah, back-to-back. Well done. Definitely deserve it too.
Congratulations to Marcus Costa. A fine performance in this sprint, and we've got one more race to go through. Completing the podium places is ACW, who's jumped up from P8 to P3. Fair
Not
enough,
surprising against
gang.
driver of the day.
Fair enough. Starting from the back, ending up in the midfield. That's a pretty solid drive, especially considering this is only a 9-lap race. And that's a few points for Silderford. A few helpful points for himself and Red Bull. So, the results from the sprint here at Saudi Arabia. Marcus Costa is your race winner. Ferrari Pro finishes in P2 and wraps up the Season 7 Elite Series Drivers' Championship. ACW in third, followed by Plebs, Mac, Pump, Silderford, Bags, Liddell, Roscoe Arm, and completing the points is Nick in the Alpine. Outside of the points is Spicy, Whitey, Marvelin, Andre, and Hillers, the two Haasers retiring during this event. Alright, well, it's getting on now. No champion. Well, we do have a few Constructors' Championships to worry about. We've also got the battle between Plebs and Spicy for P3 in the Drivers' Championship. And I think Plebs would have taken a fairly healthy swing in his own favour over Spicy. So, considering he finished P4 and Spicy finished outside of the points after what happened at Turn 1. So, be interesting to see how that unfolds for third place in the Drivers' Championship. And also we've got second place in the Constructors to worry about as well. And we're probably going to have to do some math post-race. Try and work out who finishes second, who finishes third and fourth.
I'll try to keep an eye on that too. Live action just to help you out.
Thank you.
As best I can.
But, main race here, KD. Used up the set of mediums. What do you use now? Do you start on hards? Do you start on mediums?
I probably start on mediums. Mediums just because for a straight circuit like this, mediums I think would be the way to go. I think I can't prove that in Australia, but yeah, no, I think mediums would be a good tire to use for the start.
Bit of a mixed reaction here from the grid. We'll run through it.
Okay.
Top 5, Costa, Ferrari Pro, ACW, Plebs and Easy Mac are all starting on the hard compound tyre. Pump, Silderfort and Bags Liddell are starting on the mediums. Roscoe Arm is starting on the hard tyre. Nick and Spicy are starting on mediums. Whitey and P12 are starting on the hard tyre, and he's the last car to start on the hard tyre. Marveland, Andre and Hillers starting on the mediums. We have 8 cars starting on the medium compound tyre. That means 7 starting on the hard, so almost a 50-50 split, KD.
Yeah, quite. You know what? That's not a total surprise, really. I have seen that happen before. Just watching and commentating around here, it's Saudi Arabia, so it's not a total surprise. So, I'm guessing right now, so since Ferrari finished second, ACW finished third, Spicy and Ferrari also love Ferrari as well. So I think right now, as it stands, it would be 4 points separating between Ferrari and Mercedes for the constructors for second place.
With Ferrari having the advantage, yes?
Correct.
Right. So Ferrari leading Mercedes by 4 at this point. Alright, good to know. Both McLarens ended up finishing in the points, but they need a pretty solid race here so they can bag some really big points compared to Ferrari and Mercedes. So, because they're a good 20 points behind Ferrari entering this round. So, yeah, Plebs and Pump, they both need a pretty big race.
Yeah, and basically Ferrari and Mercedes have to have like a mediocre race at best.
Pretty much. Alrighty. Drivers will line up for the final time in this championship season. Been an interesting one at that. We've had plenty of drama, plenty of fantastic racing, plenty of action and controversy. And it's all going to come to an end here at Saudi Arabia. We've got 25 laps. The final 25 laps of this season. And the 25, some of the most demanding laps left on this championship calendar. Everyone's lined up ready to race for the final time this season. We have 10 red lights. And the main race is underway. It's a nice start once again from the top two. An even better one from the two McLarens as they try and challenge positions into turn one. Through turn two we go. It's 3 wide here for P3. It's close between ACW and Plebs. Silderford has tried to make up a few positions. He's up into P6 now as we head towards turn 4. Pump gets by ACW.
Oh! Silderford's crash! Oh, dearie me! With the Aston Martin bags. And that's going to bring out a VSC from the way it looks. Oh dear.
Virtual safety car deployed. Complete front wing damage on the Aston Martin. So Bags will have to pit, probably move on to the hard compound tyre. But that's super unfortunate considering how much of a recovery Silderford managed to create in the sprint race. It's all gone now. All gone. Within a matter of 4 corners in the main race.
Yeah, just stuck by, just tag the rear left tire of Silderford, and then just cause the Constantina effect. Just very unfortunate.
Yellows are out. It's Hillers spinning at turn 17. And he drops down now to last position, down to 14th place. So, Marcus Costa is our race leader. Ferrari Pro in P2. Spicy up to P7. He needs a big race here. If he wants to stay third in the Drivers' Championship, needs to definitely finish in front of Plebs. Out of turn 27, the final corner, and down the main straightaway. See some battles going on as we see a change in position between the two McLarens. Pum gets by Plebs. He's into P3.
Fair credit, I mean, since he is on the medium tire, so might as well let your teammate through since he's on the faster compound.
Yep.
Which is totally fair.
Now, through this first sector, drivers need to be exceptionally careful, especially on the hard compound tyre. It doesn't provide a huge deal of grip through that section. A bit wide there from ACW at turn 8. He makes his way through turns 11 and 12. A bit wide there. Nick in the background, I did notice that. He had to cut turn 11. So we head around the long sweeper of turn 13. Now making our way through the middle sector of the lap. Meanwhile, Costa and Ferrari Pro, they've built up a small margin over Pump, but Pump will be planning to close in with those medium compound tyres. There are the two
so
leaders. And there's Pump.
And he's got... Yeah, he has to close in quickly before DRS becomes active, because otherwise he will be a bit of a sitting duck and not catch up, obviously.
Got one more lap to do that. Unfortunately for me, the intervals between the top 3 aren't quite working just yet, so I don't know the gap between Ferrari Pro and Pump, but it's about 1 second, I'd say.
I'd say about 1.1, 1.1, maybe 1 second. 1.2.
1.2,
okay.
There you go. So yeah, Pump really does need to get a move on here through this first sector in particular. Utilise the grip of the medium compound tyre compared to the hard tyre and try and close the gap. If you can't do that, well, yeah, as you mentioned, KD, going to be a sitting duck.
And it's very crucial to get DRS around a track like this, considering you're at full throttle for about nearly all of the lap, pretty much.
Yeah, no. Well, he's done that. He's now close to within 8/10 of Ferrari Pro, but he's still got a lot of work to do through this middle sector. Cannot afford to make a mistake through turns 16 and 17 in particular, because this section will dictate how much speed you carry through the flat out section after it. He's done a decent job to stay within that 1 second range. He should get DRS, and he's left Plebs in his dust as well. 1.8 seconds now separating the two teammates.
I think the Pump should be... Ooh, he had a bit of happy moment there. Well, unhappy moment from the car. He has DRS. Yellows are out too, by the way.
Yes,
Yellows.
Yellow flags were out, and here comes Ferrari Pro down the inside. So no more games from the recently crowned champion. He's going to go for it. Every opportunity he has, it's going to be a proper duel between these two who have been the class act of this season. They're drag racing towards turn 1. Costa gets in front and retakes the lead. Meanwhile, the two Mercedes swap places. Spicy's into P5 now, and now has Plevs directly in front of him.
And with that Bally 2 from the front, Pump's now closed in a bit more as well, as you can see.
A bit wide there from Spicy. He was quite wide there at turn 5. Probably copped a warning because of that. And yeah, Pump, he's close to within half a second of the top two. He's using a fair chunk of battery. So he wants to get involved in this battle.
Yep, he will, definitely for sure.
Alright, out of turn 13. Heading towards turn 15, 16 and 17. He is well and truly on the back of them now. So it's sort of demonstrating the pace that medium tyre has right now. It's got plenty of grip, got plenty of speed. It's just a matter of how much life does it has on this racetrack.
I did see that the pit window for medium to hard is around laps 11 to 13 if you want to keep a note of that.
Well, 11 to 13, so yeah, close to the halfway mark. So this is quite similar to Australia, where the medium compound tyre could actually last for some distance before you needed to pit. So that's very interesting. Because usually the medium tyres just burn out.
Yeah. I guess it's just maybe that way when you're on street circuits. It's a rough guess. Maybe. But I have noticed that some of them. Spicy, meanwhile, going down the inside, Plevs into the first corner.
Another position gain for Spicy. He's now in front of his rival. Next target will be Pump 46 in the McLaren, rather. Got a bit of catching up to do, but we know Spicy. He's a pretty quick customer. He'll be pushing as hard as he can to try and catch up to the top 3, if at all possible. Meanwhile, we still have a train of cars formed behind here, making their way through the first sector. None of those guys are really in a position to attack. They're all too far apart, and as we know with DRS trains, you're just sort of stuck in them. You can't really do anything.
Yep, and that's the beauty of street circuit as well. Can't really do much either.
Yep, pretty much. Just sort of how it works, so... Can't do much about it, I'd say. Can't do much at all. Through turns 22 and 23, heading through the final sector. Costa, under a bit of pressure from Ferrari Pro, who is closing in bit by bit. Will he go for a move here at turn 27? Not close enough. He had a look, but didn't fully commit to the move. Hello, Gav. Nice to see you in the chat as well. Now, down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Ferrari Pro in the slipstream, closing the gap up. But he's not close enough to really send it here into the opening left-hander. Plevs, meanwhile, is on the back of Spicy. So those medium tyres, they got decent pace. But without DRS, even with those medium tyres, he can't pull away. Because Plevs behind has DRS. That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful straight line speed is in this game. You need that straight line speed. Bit of battery usage there from Plevs as he heads towards turn 13. Half a second separating these two. Getting around the long sweeper. You can see Spicy gains time. Just not enough time. Needs to gain a couple more tenths to really try and break away from Plevs. With that sort of gap though, I think he should be able to keep Plevs at bay. At least through this DRS zone. Don't know about the final one though.
I mean, judging by the way it looks, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, he has to like get some good runs out of the chicane, which he did there for at least a brief moment. I think he should be able to keep it at least at bay for the final turn. It's all about the main straight. Yep, Ferrari Pro.
Into the race lead he goes. Costa can fight back and probably will fight back. He's got tons of battery as well. This is something that Costa has done unbelievably well all season. Draws back alongside. Down into turn 1. Ferrari Pro keeps the nose there. Costa gives room. Through turn 2. Well, this is going to be interesting. Through turn 3. Ferrari Pro draws in front. Down towards turn 4. Breaks Deed Costa. What a move! Haha! Around the outside at turn 4.
Wow. That's something you don't see. Ferrari Pro just didn't commit, though. He just backed out of it, but fair play to Marcus. For sure.
Yeah, no, that was a move right there. Around the outside at turn 4. You don't see that all too often. I thought Ferrari Pro had that. But no, Costa broke deep, went full commitment round the outside and hung on to the race lead. Fantastic stuff from the top 2. Now DRS is going to play a game here because Ferrari Pro will close in. There's Pump, and Spicy has it now as well. So we got a lengthy train of cars here from P1 all the way down to P8. It's just one long train, as I think that's Hillers bringing out yellow flags at turn 13. Here comes Ferrari Pro. Gets in front of Marcus Costa. Takes back the race lead at the final corner. Acosta, will he fight back? Can he fight back? He's definitely close enough. Opens DRS. Pulls out of the slipstream. And slingshots by the Ferrari. And retakes the lead.
Yeah, nothing you could do there for that section. That's, I think, Killers again.
And he destroyed
Safety car!
He destroyed his front wing. You can see the front wing laying on the ground there at turn 24. And safety car's been deployed, KD.
Yep. And all I could do is just sit there and laugh.
Mate,
because I know it happens to you all the time.
It's a flipping conspiracy. This has happened. What the heck was that? Were you on board with Hillez then? I'm guessing you weren't.
No, I wasn't. I was with the leaders for a brief moment.
Yeah, no. His car went, his car was shuffling going into the pits. Like, it looked like he cut a bit of the track, and it sort of half reset him, and it teleported his car back into the pit lane exit. Pit lane entry, sorry.
Oh, I've seen that happen before. Yeah, I've seen that happen before. Yeah, where the car goes to the pits, and then somehow just telepathically it goes back onto the main straight.
It's like it was moved using the force. Just
yeah.
Yep,
I've seen that. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so sketchy when that happens.
Alrighty. Oh. Who's going into the pits?
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Okay, no, I'm looking at the stream now. Yeah, no, that's very strange how that happened. Yeah, so he went sideways and then the car just straightens out. That's so weird.
Yeah, no, it was like it was manipulated by the force. I don't know. So we've got drivers in for fresh tyres. Only one driver has stayed out.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, Whitey's going to stay out as well. Whitey's going to take advantage of this situation. Where will he come out? Will he come out in front of Ferrari Pro? Oh, that's tight.
I don't think so. No. Ferrari Pro came out just before the pit lane control line.
Oof, that was close though. So P4 now for Whitey. But he's going to have a whole heap of drivers behind him on fresh tyres. They're just probably not going to play nicely with him. So, but Plevs, I guess he believes that it's just too early to move on to the medium compound tyre.
Yep, same with Whitey too, in P4.
You said the pit window was about lap 11 to 13 to get off the mediums, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I got from when I was on board with Pump.
Well,
before the race.
These guys will have to do 16 laps on their mediums.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
Of course, that's with the notion we don't have another safety car at some point. And as far as I'm concerned, so long as there's still one Haas in this race, there's bound to be a fairly decent chance of another safety car. Because that Haas has a front wing that could be destroyed. And as a result, that would bring out the safety car. So,
what's funny is that I remember I commented another race a few weeks ago at Singapore, and two of the Haas's destroyed the front wings. One underneath the grandstand, the other one was at turn 15. I know safety car came out for either one of them. For me.
And over here...
So apparently for you, that happens.
Mate, it's a conspiracy. There are dots that have been connected that leads me to believe that this is a legitimate bug. There is no way it isn't. The amount of times I've seen a Haas, not just any car, but a Haas, break their front wing. And it almost always brings out a safety car.
I feel like at some point, well, it's pretty much broken here at some point, hasn't it?
Oh, it's completely shattered me.
I don't blame you for that either.
Why does this happen? It doesn't need to happen, but it happens, so... I don't know. I'm sure it's just an amazing streak of coincidences that have happened, and they just coincidentally Haas's, but I swear to you it's not. The amount of times it's happened, it's more than just a coincidence on my end. Now, I've noticed something interesting here. Roscoe Arm has elected to go back into the pits and put on his old set of hards.
Yeah. Interesting here. What did he start on the... He started on the hards, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done 8 laps on them. You can see that.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Sorry, me being silly. But, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he can make it from there, for sure. He should be able to.
Well, the hard should be able to do all race, should they?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
From this distance, I think so.
So, interesting. Yeah, maybe Roscoe Arm is playing AD chess, meanwhile we're playing checkers. So.
Well, one way to find out, I suppose.
Alrighty. Players will control the field on relatively old hard tyres. 2 drivers behind him are on fresh mediums. And they're ready to bolt. YT and P4 is stuck on 9-lap old hards, and he has got a horde of drivers behind him on fresh tyres ready to go. Here goes Plebs, and he's caught Costa napping a little bit. He's got a gap. And out to the final corner. Make his way down the main straightaway towards turn 1. We're back on the green flag racing here at Jeddah. It's now lap 11 of 23. And it's half a second separating the top 2 right now. But that gap is going to close. And close quickly.
Especially you got those cars behind you on mediums. So, Spicy meanwhile, overtaking Pump at the first couple of turns.
Nick
for 5th place.
Behind Mac. Oh, right on the back of Nick. Got a nice run out of turn 4, but he had nowhere to go. He was stuck directly behind the Alpine. Had to check up quite a bit. You can see he's on medium tyres as well, so he wants to get by ASAP. He doesn't want to linger. He wants to go for a move. He closes in, looks to the inside here, dives it in deep, gets in front. That's a lot of cooperation as well from Nick. He left that door open. He let the overtake happen. He just wants the race to continue. He doesn't want to battle just yet. Probably some wise driving there, considering he's on the hard tyre.
Fair enough. But, yeah, he didn't need to do that, though, but he did anyway. Marcus is close. Look at the speed he's got!
Oh, that's tight.
Goodness me, it's tight! Don't tell me he's pulling this off.
He's got to pull it
He's pulling
off.
He's done it!
What kind of lunatic makes a move at turn 22? And look at Ferrari Pro, he's game.
Oh my goodness me! They were inches apart!
I reckon there was pretty close to contact. If not, Ferrari Pro actually brushed up against the wall. I'm not 100% certain, but he had to straighten that car out quite a lot.
No, he didn't hit the wall. I was on board, but he was relatively close. Those two. Oh, holy smokes!
Who makes a move at turn 22? What kind of psychopath tries to dive it down the inside of turn 22? Plev saw him coming, gave him room, but far out, man. I mean, you're lucky that neither driver touched. Because if they did, they would have ended up in the barrier.
That's like F1 manager stuff right
Yeah.
there that I just witnessed. I've seen that happen on F1 manager where they go, the way AI just make a move at that corner and pull it off. I've seen it happen actually around the outside of that corner, believe it or not.
That is just some audacious and mean overtaking.
Oh yeah.
You don't just go down the inside of turn 22. Don't just do that. That's exactly what he did, and he made it work, and Ferrari Pro managed to follow him through. And you can see the pace of the medium tyre now. They already got 1.5 seconds, and here comes Ferrari Pro. This time, looking down the inside at the final corner, he gets in front, but Ferrari Pro... Oh, that's some good driving there. He covers the apex to make sure Costa stays behind. But Costa has the slipstream. Heading down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Costa pulls out of it, looking around the long way here at turn 1. Oh, but Ferrari Pro, he covers well. He covers really, really well through turns 1 and 2, and he'll maintain the lead.
Absolutely. No, great driving. Respectable driving, too. From that.
Now, through the S's we go. We got this midfield pack closely bunched up together, but no one really in any sort of position to try and battle one another. Such is the nature of DRS trains. When you're in the middle of them, you are well and truly stuck. Yellows, that is... Uh-oh.
Aha! Oh.
He's got his front wing, it's fine.
He's not going to cause a safety car from it.
No. Still have 13 laps to go, though.
Yep.
Swear to God. If he breaks his front wing, safety car comes out, not going to be happy. I want to be proven wrong. I want this curse to end, KD. I hate it. Because every time I see it, I just get flabbergasted by it.
Well, you've got at least a couple more races to go.
Yeah, too true. We got Tier 1 and American Series where both of those championships are going to go down to the final round as well. So it's been a competitive season at the beginning of lap 14. Like Elite Series have come down to the final round. Tier 1 and Americas will go down to the final round as well. So it's been good. Nice and competitive. Towards the top anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens too. Who's leading Pacific 2-1? It's a Ford that's still leading?
Ford's still leading, correct.
Yeah, okay.
And
interesting.
it's going to be the race of the week, I reckon. Two drivers who... Oh, hello, Whitey's out of the race.
And hello, safety car. Well, not caused by a Haas, but caused by an Alpine crashing.
Well, that's a legitimate safety car,
yeah.
That one. You know?
Well, yeah, of course.
Car's crashed out. Understandable. You bring the safety car out. So understandable every time a Haas breaks the front wing, though. Yeah, I reckon that Tier 1 race, Ford and Crichton, considering the drama that we've had over the course of that season, considering the fact those two have won every single race so far this season.
True.
No one else has won a race in Tier 1 except for Ford and
so
Crichton.
Yeah, it shows how much of a class of their own they've been.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Now, I've looked at the standings a few moments ago just to get an idea of what the Elite Series has been like. And we'll take into consideration what happens at the end of this race, because we might have a different race winner. We've got 8 different race winners this season. We've got a few drivers in as well. Plevs and Spicy. These two are race winners. Plevs and Spicy. The other 6 features Vengeance, Marcus, Ferrari Pro, BPV8, who won a couple, Bags Liddell, who won at Silverstone, and Silderford, who won the Dutch Grand Prix, if I recall.
And let me see, from America Series, I'm going to look at that just out of curiosity.
Yeah, if there would be a new race winner, it would have to be either Pump, Easy Mac, ACW hasn't won a race this season. Nick,
Nope.
Roscoe Arm, Marvelant, and Andre, in terms of the drivers remaining.
In the America Series, we've had 5 different race winners.
There you go.
My Wombat, Axis, Nico, Blockman, and myself.
There you go. So, you know, we've had some competition where we've had several drivers win races, but yeah, in Tier 1, literally been either Ford or Crichton winning races, so... Soft tyres I see as well.
Yeah, for Spicy, and Marvelant, and Andre.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a bit too early, I'd say. Really. I don't think the softs are going to be good towards the end.
Unless they're going to pit again and move back onto the mediums.
Or the game might have screwed them in a sense.
Could have. It's
That's
entirely
another
possible.
possibility. Yeah, knowing this game.
Alright, what will happen here? What will these drivers do? Will they pit again? Will they stay out? Will they commit? I mean, they have to do quite a number of laps on these tyres. Looks like they're staying out.
They are, yeah. Not bothering.
Gonna have to do over 10 laps with those tyres. Okay. Andre's coming back in.
If they're that confident, I guess. He's crawling into the pits.
Maybe he's thinking, what else is there to lose at this point? Might as well go for it.
Pretty much.
What tyres? They are...
Softs, I think. Again, yep. Another stuff. Well, I mean... What is it, the use that he had from qualifying? That he's got?
I would guess so.
Probably.
I don't think you're given any fresh sets when you go into the main race. I think the only fresh ones you get is a set of hards and a set of mediums, I think. So... Yeah, no, interesting. A few drivers out there on the soft tyre, they're going to be rapid. But how long will that tyre last? That's the question. They got to do 9 racing laps. That's, of course, without any other more safety car interventions. Of course. Actually, 9 laps to go. That's the same length as a sprint race, so... Plevs and Roscoe Arm and Bags Liddell, they're on relatively fresh tyres.
And they can go to the... And they definitely can go to the end from here.
Yeah, they're going to have pace. But they're probably going to have a hard time moving their way forward. I would guess. Being stuck in the middle of the pack. So...
Yeah, because obviously... Different setups, you're in a fast street circuit. Of course, there's a lot of element to that as well.
Leaders are now trying to get temperature into their tyres as the safety car will disappear back into the pits. Marcus Costa is our race leader. He's on 7-lap on mediums. Ferrari Pro right behind him. He's on similar age tyres. Pump in P3. He's on hard tyres, the same age as Costa and Ferrari Pro's mediums. But those hard tyres aren't going to have a great deal of pace. Out to the final corner, you can see Costa continuing to back the field up as we head down the main straightaway to get back under green flag conditions. It's now lap 17 of 25 here at Jeddah. We've got 9 laps to go. We've got some battling going on already as Easy Mac has to defend position from ACW, who looks down the inside at turn 2. Gets a nose in front as they head around turn 3. Easy Mac fights back and he maintains 4th.
Yep. He just had more momentum there going through turn 3. I think I noticed there was a position change as well. I didn't quite catch who it was. Ferrari Pro shot himself in the... Yep. Shot himself in the foot.
Ouch. 3-second time penalty next to his name that he'll have to deal with over the course of this race. Now, I'm sure he won't be too extremely bothered by it. He knows the big prize has been claimed. So this is more or less fighting for pride now. So he won't be too worried, I would think. Plev's putting a lot of pressure to the back of Asnick's car, and Spicy's directly behind as well. Right on board here. Oh! Turn 20, turn 21. Spicy gets through. He's into P7. That was cheeky, I think.
Yeah. At least I got before. Oh, here comes Spicy again. This time he's going on Asnick.
He's got some straight line speed in that Mercedes. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
He's fast. He is fast in a straight line.
Yeah. Definitely for sure.
Plebs gets by Nick as well. Roscoe Arm gets by Nick. Nick has left the session. That's why. Oh dear. The AI has taken control and went into grandma mode down the main straightaway. Pulled off to the left and let everyone through.
Oh, as Clarkson would call it, limp home mode.
Ferrari Pro keeping the pressure up. 0.4 of a second separating the top two. Pump 1.5 seconds. Can on those hard compound tyres. They're not going to have pace. They're going to have longevity though, so he needs to hope. He needs to hope for a long green flag stint. So then those medium runners really wear out their tyres, and he will start to come to the form. Hello, Spicy. You're closing in on your teammate. Are you going to go for an audacious move at turn 22? No. Oh, but ACW's going to roll out the red carpet. Oh, my goodness me. He's rolled out the red carpet for his teammate. He's let him through. Ferrari Pro down the inside just before the final corner. And Ferrari Pro moves into the race lead. Costa down to P2, ACW and Plebs. Where's Plebs? There's Plebs in the slipstream. Oh, look at the Merc straight line speed. Ooh, it is fast too. So the two Mercs, they're pretty handy down the straights. Probably not as good through the corners. Spicy, his next target is Easy Mac in the Alfa Romeo. Right on board, take you through this first sector through turn 4 and around turn 5. To be so careful with the car through here. You can see how much he's modulating the throttle on the telemetry. Never really hitting full throttle at any section. Big coast there at the entry to turn 10. That's because of the amount of understeer he got at turn 9. Just didn't get enough rotation at turn 9 to really rotate the car at turn 10. Got a bit of understeer as well at the mid part of turn 13. But he gets a nice run. He's right on the back, heading through this chicane. Turn 16 and 17. Should try and line up something here. He'll open DRS. There we go. He's closing in. He's dumping his battery look. And he's going to draw alongside here. Oh, this is tight contact.
Oh, that's close. Oh.
And Easy Mac will hang on. Fine driving from him. He cuts in front of Spicy. Says, no, mate. I'm not letting you through just yet. Here we go. Spicy looking around the long way here. He's drawing alongside the Alfa Romeo. Into the final corner we go. Spicy trying to swoop around the long way. Easy Mac can't get the traction on the exit. He has to concede and move down to 5th. And here comes ACW with a whole heap of straight line speed. Aided by his teammate as well. Here we go into turn 1. Easy Mac dives it in though. Trying to keep his position. ACW trying to fight at turn 2 but can't do it. He has to stay in P6 for now. There's some tight battling there, KD, between Spicy and Mac.
Yeah, that's second time we've seen, or third time rather, we've seen an overtake happen at 22 and 23, in a sense. Second time that we see that side-by-side action. You would not expect that at all.
No, Spicy was well and truly going for it. Seb is not mucking around on those soft tyres. He is marching forward. He wants to get into P3 if he can. Try and consolidate where he is. Because he does have time penalty Time penalties next to his name. 3 seconds to be exact. And he needs to make full use of those soft tyres while they still have pace. There's no point dawdling behind the car in front. Here we go into turn 22 again. He's not close enough to try and battle pump through this section. But he might be able to have a go here through the final section of the racetrack. Opens DRS. Draws alongside. Speaking of passing, down the inside goes Ferrari Pro. He takes the lead. Down the inside goes Spicy on pump. Not much Pump can do about that, except try and counter-attack down the main straight, like Marcus Costa is doing, who retakes the lead with 4 laps to go. Can Pump take back P3 here? Oh, he doesn't have DRS, so he can't strike back.
Yep. Because Spicy was behind him, of course, going into the detection zone, which is fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, he'll try and pull away from those behind him. How much life do those tires... Oh, hello, Costa.
Oh.
It's now a genuine battle at the front.
Yep, all over again.
Costa versus Ferrari Pro. For the race win here at Jeddah. Who will take it? The championship's done, so this is for pride now. This is for bragging rights, for one final win in this championship season. Spicy, meanwhile, trying to hang on to P3. With this P3 finish, there'll be a fairly decent shout. He will finish P3 in the driver's standings as well. His main rival, Plevs, is down in P7, of course, so he does have that 3-second time penalty lingering over his head. You can see everyone else behind. It's a tight, compact train. He's going to lose a fair few places if he can't break away. See ACW taking a more narrow line. I suppose half defending from Plevs. Maybe trying to launch an attack on Easy Mac, but he's just not close enough. Down the main straightaway we go. Closing in bit by bit by bit by bit, but not by enough to attack into the opening corner. Through the S's, or rather through the chicane and up towards the S's. Yeah. These fellas, they just can't do much at the moment. They're all just sort of stuck right now. It's one big, long train.
Yep, you just gotta pray for a mistake to happen in front of you in some case.
What, Banana? I notice you in the chat. Spelling my name with all capitals and making it really long.
I suppose.
Oh, and US.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, except mine's not capital. I don't get the capital treatment, apparently.
I suppose. Yeah.
Oh well, it's whatever, I suppose.
Ferrari Pro, half a second, 4/10 behind now, entering turns 22 and 23. See Ferrari Pro just lingering behind, saving just a smidgen of battery compared to Marcus Costa, who's got almost twice the amount. Ferrari Pro closing in. Or doesn't fully commit to the move. He could have went for the move there, I think. He was definitely close enough, but he decided against it. He's going to have a go here down the main straightaway. If not, he'll stay behind again, follow Costa around for another lap, and try and play some games here with Marcus Costa. Because obviously we've seen KD, how powerful DRS can be as Plevs gets down the inside of ACW to take P6. How powerful DRS can be around this circuit. So having DRS on the final lap is going to give you a considerable advantage trying to pass the car in front of you.
Yep, and of course, what we've seen before, the gamesmanship is going to be in more in effect now too, with the final couple of laps coming as well, especially when we get to the main straightaway.
So we're probably going to see some games here between the top two. Ferrari Pro, he might get himself close to try and attack, but he won't fully commit to it. Or Costa, he might try and brake a bit earlier, try and get Ferrari Pro in front, so he can give himself some DRS. Or counter to that, maybe try and back Ferrari Pro up, and then really launch it on the final lap, dump all of his battery, and try and pull away. It'll be interesting to see what kind of gamesmanship we'll see here. You can see Ferrari Pro not bothering to use any battery. He's just going to try and pass the regular way, it seems. Down the inside he goes. Around the final corner and down the... Oh, a bit of a wiggle there from Marcus Costa. Maybe caught out by Ferrari Pro and how slow he was on the exit. And Costa will retake the lead with 2 laps to go. Now, Ferrari Pro, he might go for another move at the final corner, but he's ultimately going to try and set himself up for the final lap. That's what he's going to try and do.
Yeah, I probably would agree with you on that. Marcus, all he has to do is just keep the lap tie and just see if he can pull away, if he can. But that's going to be a bit difficult because even so, Ferrari Pro is actually even with battery with Marcus Costa as we speak, if not just slightly more, actually.
Yep, that's a great observation, KD. Ferrari Pro has turned the tables. Marcus Costa on the back foot. Ferrari Pro now has the resource advantage. Not by much, but every percentage counts in the great scheme of things. So this ought to be interesting between the top two now as they head through this DRS zone through turns 20 and 21 and up towards the chicane of turns 22 and 23, where we've seen some audacious overtaking, some properly illegal overtaking that should not be done but managed to happen somehow, some way. Here comes Ferrari Pro, closing in bit by bit, but there we go. He doesn't go for the move. He's going to stay behind.
Yep, and he closed the DRS early before the braking zone.
So he's going to try and line up Costa. Costa needs to react here and now. It's the final lap. Lap 25 of 25. The final lap of Season 7 Elite Series. This is it. It's all going to come to an end here. Ferrari Pro. He needs a pretty solid lap. I reckon he needs to be at least 3.5 tenths behind Marcus Costa heading into the final DRS zone to give himself a proper shot. Costa needs to keep his eyes forward and hit every apex and put together a really big final lap. A little bit of battery there. Ferrari Pro not using any battery in response. Just maintaining that half-second gap. Meanwhile, look at this train behind. Spicy's going to get absolutely shafted with that 3-second time penalty. He's going to lose a whole heap of spots, and this should mean Plebs will finish P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Now, DRS open for Ferrari Pro. Using a little bit of battery here and there, and Pump, he gets by. He's into P3 now. Through the chicane for the final time. Ferrari Pro, is he close enough? He's dumping his battery. Opens DRS. Closes the gap up. What does Costa do? Does he have margin in hand? It looks like he does. Into the final corner we go. 1.5 tenths. 2 tenths separating the top two. Out of the hairpin. Opens DRS. Dumps the battery. It's a drag race to the line. That's ultimately going to be won by Marcus Costa. Finishing third will be Pump. Oh, that is close at the line.
Wow. By nearly over a tenth. They were 3 wide towards the line too.
Impeccable stuff there. Brilliant battling at the end. Costa will take the bragging rights here at Jeddah. A race win. But ultimately he'll come up short in the Drivers' Championship. Still doesn't take away what a brilliant season he's had. Spicy given driver of the day for his performance here at Saudi Arabia. And what a fine effort from Marcus Costa. This will be race win number 4 in this season. Winning at Zandvoort, at Suzuka, at Kota, and now here, Saudi Arabia. In fact, he and Ferrari Pro will be on equal wins at the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken. The Ferrari Pro taking wins at Miami, Spain, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. What a season it's been for the top two. And congratulations to Pump as well. P3 finish for him. That is his second podium of the season. First coming back at Suzuka during round 7. So, the unofficial results of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Marcus Costa, our race winner, with Ferrari Pro coming up in second with fastest lap. Pump finishing P3 in front of Easy Mac, Plevs, and ACW. Roscoe Arm, Spicy, Bags Liddell, and Marvelin rounds out the top 10. Andre's next, followed by Nick and our retirees Whitey, Hillez, and Silderford. Alrighty. we'll get through this. And I'll go blue screen. We'll invite the top 3 into the party. Have a nice little chat about what happened over the course of this Grand Prix. Let's see here. Players. Let's see here. Ferrari Pro. Marcus. And Pump, you're all online. Thank you. Making my life a living hell trying to find all of you. Oh. Oh. Not a bad race to end the season, KD, I'd say.
No, it was good. It actually was a respectable race, actually.
I agree. Definitely had its moments, had its drama, and some controversy here and there, and some conspiracies on my end with Haas front wings and safety cars. So, had a little bit of everything. And everyone's joined, but PlayStation again not notifying me of anything. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Thank you to all 3 of you for joining us here for a few post-race questions. We'll start from 3rd. We'll move our way up per the norm. So we'll start with you, Pump. Welcome back to the podium, my guy. Been a little while, but a nice drive at the end of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Must be pretty happy with your performance.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favourite tracks to drive, so I was kind of, expecting to at least do well relative to how I usually go. But yeah, I mean, it kind of fell my way a little bit, but yeah, I did everything I needed to, I guess.
But first of all, how was qualifying on your end? I believe you qualified P5 at the end of that?
Yeah, I think I did a 28.7, I think, which I was pretty happy with that. I mean, there's probably another 10th or 2 in there, but overall, yeah, on a track like this where it's very easy to make a mistake in quali, I was happy with that. It was very tight around where I was as well.
Yeah, there were a few drivers that were really tightly bunched together. In fact, looking at the qualifying results, you were only half a tenth off P3 at the end of that, which was spicy. So, no, it was quite tight at the end of qualifying. But how was that sprint race for you, that 9-lap race only on the medium compound tyre?
Not too bad. I didn't get off to the best start. Well, I got a decent launch, but something happened into turn 1, and I think Spicy spun, so I had to avoid him, which cost me maybe 2 or 3 places, I'm not sure. But yeah, and then from there it was just, I think I was stuck behind Bags for a little while, and then got past him and onto the back of Easy Mac, and then I'm pretty sure that's how it finished.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's sort of how it goes with sprint races, isn't it? Where you just sort of get stuck in the middle of a DRS train because everyone's still relatively bunched up because it's a short race. So when you get stuck in that train, it's very difficult to move yourself forward. But, it's very fair that you weren't able to move too far forward over the course of that.
Yeah,
but the main race, yeah, that too. But the main race, how was that for you, starting from P6?
Again, I think I got off to a pretty good start. Got up because I was the first on the mediums, so I kind of knew I had to make some headway in the early laps before the tyres switched over. So I got up into P3, and then Marcus and Ferrari Pro just had a lot of pace. So I caught the back of them while the mediums were good. I had a little bit more pace, but I kind of played the long game there. I just, plus, with championship and all that, I think it might have been decided already, but kind of wanted to just stay out of the way and then sort of wait for the hards to take over, and then I could just stay on the back of them for as long as possible. But it didn't really work out because they were having a pretty good battle, so it more kind of brought the pack back onto us.
But no, you must have been cheering a little bit when you noticed the safety car, first safety car. coming at a pretty nice window to get off the mediums and onto the hard compound tyre.
Yeah, pretty much perfect. And then also being the first, I think I was the first car on that strategy. So that was kind of, maybe in the back of the head a little bit there. It's kind of could be a race win on if it goes right. But I messed up the restart fairly badly on the first one, I think, and just went deep into turn one and then lost a spot or two there, I think.
But how are those hard tyres to deal with?
Oh, they were good at first. The second, the second safety car kind of helped me. Yeah. I think just staying out, but I kind of expected the tyre delta to actually be a little bit better for me. But I definitely struggled on the first 2 laps, just getting them back up to temperature. And there was definitely a couple of slides there and little moments. And,
as you naturally have. Oh, really?
Yeah. I think from probably lap 8 or 9 onwards, I think.
Mate, that would have been fun. Especially around a place like this. Far out. You must be tiptoeing it through the S section in the opening sector.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, that's kind of this track anyway, even if it's either a wall or a track limit, so.
Yeah, fair point. Absolutely fair point. But no, after the second safety car period, put yourself in a decent position. You had guys around you on either medium compound tyres or fresh medium, or even Spicy, who was on fresh softs, managed to carry those things 10 laps. What was your mindset throughout that final sort of phase of the race? Was it to just keep out of trouble, keep it clean, get to the finish?
Well, I was initially thinking try and get a win, because I thought I was on the best strategy, and then the guys in front had pens as well.
Yeah.
But those first 2 laps really cost me, and then it was pretty much just defending my position from there. Like, once Spicy caught me, I knew the softs were still too quick, so I was kind of, plus he had the penalty, so I didn't fight him too hard, and then kind of sort of just sat on the back of him really.
Yep.
And kind of used the DRS to defend from Easy Mac behind me.
Fair enough. And you put yourself in a solid position once Spicy got in front, because you kept just enough pace to stay within that 1 second range throughout the rest of that stint. And then you had a pretty nice 3-wide finish at the end there that we did catch.
Yeah, it was pretty tense going into the last corner, because we were all kind of, the car at the back had the most speed coming through, so we're all kind of arriving at once. So I just thought, I'll take the wide line and try and get a better exit, and then really, I was just racing Easy Mac at that point, so
fair enough.
It's just kind of holding on, and then I don't think it was not much separating us over the line either, I don't think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was like over by over a tenth, I think it was, at the line between you and Mac.
Yeah, very close. It was one of those ones where the last 2 or 3 laps, you do have that feeling that you can throw it away at any point, like any little mistake, and you're gonna have cars coming past you.
KD, do you have anything to ask Punt at all?
Well, how would you judge your season overall? Because you got a couple of podiums, as Lane was mentioning. Would you say that this is probably a decent season for you overall, from your POV?
Not really. I think a couple of good races, but overall it was pretty inconsistent. Lots of finishing outside the top 10 and stuff like that. So I don't know where I finished up.
Fair.
Around the 8, 9, 10, something like that. I think. And ideally I'd like to go a little bit better than that, but once I kind of was out of the mix to get a sort of higher spot in the standings, it did just become try and get good results on one-off races, basically.
Glad it's all done.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a break, I think.
15 straight weeks, man, it takes a toll.
Yeah, I think the motivation's not really there that much at the moment, but league racing's still fun. Great getting out and having a battle, but practicing for it right now is a bit, not really there.
Feels like it's sure.
Yeah, a little bit. Racing's still fun though, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. You're definitely not wrong there.
Enjoy your break, Punt, and congratulations on your P3 finish here at Saudi Arabia. Well done.
Thanks. Thanks. Congrats to Ferrari Pro on the championship as well. It's 2-0, so.
Speak of the devil, Ferrari Pro P2 in this race, but probably more importantly, you are Season 7 Elite Series Drivers Champion. Well done.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you, Lane. But first of all, I want to credit Costa. You know, he's driven a bloody good season, and to have those that podium streak, that really has, I think, impressed a lot of us, and it's definitely caught the eye of me. Before, I think it was Britain, just to have that podium streak in general, finish on the podium was quite outstanding. And he's done a solid job all season, and it was a shame what happened in Brazil, but
You cut off there, mate.
Is he there?
Ferrari Pro?
Still the party for me.
Man, he got so emotional his mic gave up.
I know, right?
If it's fuzzy, sorry, I had to chuck it on charge.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, alright. Like, you want to carry on the Marcus and let me get some charge in it?
I suppose we could then.
Alright, I'll be back.
Alright. That was something. Haven't experienced that in some time. Alright, Mr. Costa, suppose we'll move on to you to allow the Ferrari Pro to charge up his batteries. But, mate, you did everything you could today. Absolutely everything that you could. And as Ferrari Pro mentioned, I think only because of what happened during the time at Brazil sort of really ruined your championship chances. But you came out here today and you gave it everything that you could. So, really solid job to you. So, congrats on that. I just like to say that quali lap, 28-1 in sprint race conditions, not just regular qualifying with a track script here, but in sprint conditions, 28-1. You were 4/10 faster than the next car. How was the lap on your end?
Oh, first of all, I'll say a big thank you to you two, the commentators, and also the organisers, and obviously a very sensational job by Ferrari Pro. Gave me a run for my money the entire season. Obviously, he was a super clean driver. It was always really enjoyable racing him. The only probably questionable moment we had was USA, and that was only one little incident that we didn't even crash, but the rest of the season was brilliant. We had battles 50% of the tracks, I reckon. It was good fun. He always left me space. I respected him, so I think that mutual respect definitely gave us a really good championship fight. But just disappointing result in the end, considering something out of my control just snatched it away.
Yeah, absolutely. But that lap, 28-1, take us through it.
Yeah, I hadn't actually done any practice, I'm not gonna lie. I just sort of turned on my PlayStation earlier today, put it on F1, loaded up TT, and just never really touched it, to be honest. I wasn't really motivated, if I'm being quite frank, to do any practice, knowing that it was pretty much unlikely, but, you know, never give up. Then I did just grab the setup, rocked up to the event. Obviously, my banker lap was actually a 28.2, but I made a little invalidation which actually lost me time, so I feel like I could have maybe dipped into the 27s had it been a regular qualifying session. But yeah, obviously can't really complain about a lap where I had pole by 4/10, so yeah, it was a really fun one to put together, but very cautious because I know I had to make a big improvement to guarantee pole.
Yep. But no, you put together a really fine lap right at the end of qualifying, so super job on getting pole. And then in the sprint race, there were times when Ferrari Pro did get in front and take the lead, but throughout the majority of that race, you were out in front, just leading the way, doing what you do best. How was that sprint race on your end?
That sprint race was super fun because my battery management was as usual.
Yes.
So it was quite strong, and obviously I wasn't fast with letting him pass because I just got to repass him.
Yep.
So yeah, I was quite comfortable with him in front because I know that as soon as the sector 2, 3 and the pit straight came along, I knew that it was going to be fine. I could just repass him just by using a little bit of battery.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a fun one. Swapped places every now and then, kept it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then eventually ended up taking the win which is exactly what you needed. What you didn't need was Ferrari Pro to end up finishing behind you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing you can do in that particular situation. Did everything that you could. So, can't do
Yeah, I definitely had accepted the defeat on that last lap when we got through Sector 3 and there was only one real corner to go, and I know that he wasn't going to make a mistake that would cost him 5 positions, which would have been about 10 seconds, because not to discredit the other drivers tonight, everyone did a fantastic job, but myself and Ferrari Pro were quite a way ahead in terms of just pace and consistency.
Yeah, seemed like that too from our perspective as well. But main race time came along. You and Ferrari Pro elected to start on the hard compound. Ty, how was it starting on the hard compound here at Jeddah?
Oh, I'm going to be completely honest, it was absolutely horrid.
Yeah.
They were shocking tyres. Because I was running minimum pressures for for quali, sprint and feature, and it was bad because the mediums, with clicks on the mediums, it would overheat, but then with no clicks on the hards, it would just be too cold and just couldn't get them fired up. So it was a real struggle. I had to drive quite cautious through Sector 1 especially. I was sliding a bit through the left and right hander.
Yeah.
But I managed to keep it consistent. Obviously picked up the penalty right in the dying laps of the race, which was disappointing because I'd kept it clean considering the state of the tyres. But yeah, managed to seal the win. So that was a fun one because Ferrari Pro was, he pretty much just followed me around the whole race. Every now and again he took the lead, but I just managed to take it back on pit straight. We had some good battles. A little bit of a battle into the start of Sector 1, which would have kept it interesting. But yeah, I wasn't planning on taking him out, but I also wasn't planning on yielding that position.
Well, speaking of that, I was going to allude to that. There are 2 key moments I want to bring up where you were just unbelievable. Firstly, that move around the outside of turn 4. I was on board with you when you pulled that off. How did you pull that off? You're on the outside, but you're also behind him. You outbrake him and swing around the outside.
2 words, big balls, and it wouldn't have impacted. It wouldn't have impacted the championship. I know that if anything happened, he would have won the championship, and I would have finished second regardless. So I was like, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well try it, and if I get a penalty or if I go off, I'll just give the position to him. But managed to keep it on the track. So yeah, good bit of racing.
And may I add too, your move on play was at 22 and 23. Yeah, that's something I've never seen. That's like something I would see on F1 Manager, where you just go down the inside at 22 and 23. You're going fast, both of you, mind you, and you somehow stuck the move. It's something I've never seen before, even like, well, at least on league racing around that area. That was actually amazing too.
Yeah, obviously, not all the credit is for me. Well done to Plebs for leaving me space. But yeah, it was vital to my race that I had to pass him because obviously he was on the old hards and very slow, and I was on the fresh mediums and needed to pass him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just sent it. I got alongside and I was like, okay, perfect chance.
No, that was the second moment I was about to bring up because that move, caught us off guard. Didn't think you would really go for it, but no, you did. You went for it. So,
yeah, I've made a habit of that this season.
Yeah, no, I've seen a few moments with you making moves that I don't see coming, KD doesn't see coming, and you make it stick. So that's some awesome stuff right there. Towards the end of the race, you and Ferrari Pro, you're by yourselves. The laps start ticking down, and you know he's right behind you in that DRS slot. What was your game going into the final couple of laps? Because you know around a racetrack like Jeddah, you can play a fair bit of gamesmanship and play around and do some tricky stuff with DRS. So what was your game plan going into those final laps?
You just put it perfectly. Just DRS tricked him, I reckon, a good 15, 16, maybe 20 times combined with the sprint and the feature. Got him into the final corner, just let him pass and repassed him, and it was no stress. I know that my battery... Oh, that's dropped something important. My bad. My battery management was quite good, so I know that if he went through, I wasn't too phased. Because like I said in the sprint, I just repassed him, and I know that he was flashing because I saw him pass me before turn 1, and I was on about 60%, and I just saw his red light flashing, and it's just a very comforting feeling seeing that flashing when I'm on such high battery.
But no. On that final lap, just dump whatever you had, keep them at bay?
Yep, it was the same in the sprint. I had about 60% going into the last lap, and it was pretty much as soon as I got to the long straights in sectors 2 and 3, it was just burned the entire time because I would have plenty of it.
Fair enough. KD, do you have anything to ask race winner Marcus Costa?
Well, we were talking about this, Lane and I, about how you had that unfortunate event where you had to miss Brazil because of a storm, I guess. But obviously, do you think if that didn't happen, do you think you could have still maybe at least grab the championship? Let's say if that whole event didn't happen.
If I didn't miss Brazil, which was probably even more crucial because it was a sprint round, and obviously Ferrari Pro managed to go on and win both, I believe. If I didn't miss Brazil, I wholeheartedly believe I would have won the championship.
Fair enough.
It's just unfortunate that bad luck can get in the way like that and sort of ruin a championship. But
yeah,
I suppose that's
Ferrari Pro had like a 40-point outing or something, and I'm just at home with no power, but just watching on my phone, just Ferrari Pro just uncontested. It was frustrating to say the least, but yeah, nothing I could do. So yeah.
Final question to you, Marcus Costa. This season consisted of 4 race wins, including this one here at Saudi Arabia, as well as a fantastic podium streak from Belgium all the way up to Silverstone. How do you rate this season for you, overall?
Oh, well, I haven't been league racing for a long time to compare it amongst my seasons, because I've only been racing since probably March this year, so not a while, but yeah, I'd say it was a fairly good, yeah, it was a really good season. Pace was pretty much there every single race, but I thought I had the consistency to get the championship, which I felt like I displayed that, particularly throughout the entire season, with just picking up podiums, a couple race wins here and there. But yeah, when you miss a race where there's 40 points up for grabs and the contender pretty much maximizes that outing, it makes it incredibly difficult.
Well, sir, as a person who I haven't met before this season, you certainly vaulted up in my expectations. I've never met you before, never seen you before. No idea what you could do. You have certainly proven to be a very capable, top-tier driver. I'm sorry that you weren't able to wrap up the Drivers' Championship, but you put together a hell of a season. So congratulations on that, and congrats on winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Well done.
Cheers, Lane. Really appreciate the commentary throughout the season. Likewise with you, KD.
It's always a pleasure. Now, Low Battery Pro, are you good now?
Alright, let's hope. Let's hope. Alright, so where were we at?
Championship, you wrapped it up. Well done.
Thank you very much. Well, I already did say congrats to Marcus and that, like, he drove a really good season, so I already said that in the beginning, and I'll love to say it again, but yeah.
Low battery.
Yeah, low battery, yeah.
So, we'll get through a quick fire then. Qualifying, P2, how was it?
I was pretty, a little bit embarrassed, sort of, because I wasn't embarrassed in a way, I don't know really how to explain it. There was a lot more pace in it, I felt.
Yeah.
I made a bit of a mistake, but P2, is alright. Like, it was good for the sprint. It was alright. It was alright, I'll say.
Yeah, P2, front row start for the sprint race. What was your game plan? Was it to try and battle Marcus Costa for a race win, or was it try and stick with Marcus Costa, conserve a P2 finish?
I knew the slipstream train around Saudi's pretty magnificent, which it was. So I wanted to get in front of Marcus, but at the same time I didn't know if he was running lower wings, so I was kind of trying to stick behind just to see. I don't know what wings he was running. I think it was just down to me hitting the X button for battery, but yeah, I don't know. I tried to get past him a lot. He got past me again. That kept on going, and yeah, I don't know. Still happy with P2. Oh, of course I am. Shit, but Nah, he drove a really good sprint race, and as I was saying, in the main race, he drove a really good main race as well.
But yeah, with the points that you secured in the sprint, that meant that you sealed up the Drivers' Championship. Because the gap at that point would be 34, which is too much to overcome in the main race. So you wrapped it up there and there. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that because I saw plebs like saying FYI to you in the Discord, like I just had to think score 4th and above, so
Yeah.
I just knew that's all I had to do, really.
Yep.
So I was pretty stoked.
So what was your mentality heading into the main race then?
Still try to do as best as I can. Like, you know, I won the championship. I still want to try and win the race, but at the same time, I got a lot of weight off my shoulders and that, so I didn't really mind if I didn't win it. Just really wanted to finish on the podium.
Yep.
And no, I just really wanted to have a nice battle with Marcus, and we had that. We had that. Send off what has been pretty fun season.
Yep, absolutely. Elected to start it on the hard compound tyre. How was that?
It felt actually pretty decent for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was a bit shaky on I think the first 2 laps, but lap 3 came around. It was pretty good actually.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
As it was going towards the end of the stint, also just kept improving. It felt really good.
But first safety car came around, elected to move on to the medium compound tyre. Were you going to try and stretch those things?
Yeah.
Even if it remained green all the way through?
I was going to stretch them 100% because
Yep.
it was in another league also I saw that happened. Someone stretched from lap 9 to the end on mediums, and they finished on around 60%, which I finished on.
Okay.
But yeah, I knew that'd be alright. I seemed to go good on more worn tyres and newer in a way. I don't know.
Yep.
But no, they felt really good. Really good.
One of the highlights of the race featuring you was a battle between yourself and Costa heading towards turn 4. Now, coming through turns 1 and 2 and 3, I thought you got him. You had the car in front, you had the inside line to turn 4, and here comes this Williams swooping around your outside. How was that from your point of view?
It was pretty good. I was like, oh my god, is this happening? We're going to go side by side through the S's, and I thought maybe going into turn 4 he might have yielded and gave it, but we weren't going to yield, both of us, so we were essentially going too wide in the turn 4, then maybe into the S section, but I think I just broke a bit too early. I wanted to keep it going, but I didn't know how it might have ended, so I tried to play it precautionary, but yeah, it was a good overtake from Marcus there.
Yeah, I did notice that from your when I was on board with Marcus that you broke a little too soon before going to the corner, which is fair enough, obviously, because that's so hard to go through side by side through that section.
Yeah.
But you also got a pretty good POV of what happened between Marcus and Plevs at turn 22.
22. What happened?
So it's the end of the second DRS zone, I suppose. So you got the main straight, you got the DRS zone on the back straight, but DRS wasn't available yet. Yeah, big send down the inside of 22.
Yeah, that I was like, oh my god, that's some pretty good driving there, and I was trying to sneak myself in there to try and maybe get past both of them, but I ended up getting past Plebs. But
yeah,
that was some pretty good overtaking there from Marcus. Just 100%. Pretty good credit there.
Yeah,
put that in overtakes at the week, man.
Absolutely. But final safety car comes out, bunches the field up once again. You and Costa just take off.
Yeah.
Dying couple of laps. You actually saved up a bit of battery, we noticed, with a couple of laps to go. At one point, you were actually better than Marcus in terms of battery life. Not by much, by like 3%, but you were better off. What was your game plan heading into the final few laps? Was it trying to line up Marcus for a final pass using DRS on the last lap, maybe?
I wanted to get him on the second last straight, so the second last DRS zone.
Yeah.
I really wanted to try and get him into the hairpin and just gun my way to the line.
Yeah.
Which I essentially nearly did. I think 2 attempts back going into the braking zone. But that's what I was planning the whole last 5 laps, because I knew I was saving battery. I was actually having good pace with saving battery for once. And no, I really wanted that to work out. That would have been sick, but no, it was still really good. I'm really proud about my battery saving.
Yeah, towards the end you actually did quite a good job saving what you needed to save, and you had a drag race with Marcus towards the line, and unfortunately Marcus was too far in front of you to take the race win. But still, a second place finish, you must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a nice dirt bike in the background, by the way.
One of my neighbours.
Yeah, that sounds really good. But no, I'm happy about that. You know, cap off with what has been a very good season, pretty good comeback. But you know what happened to Marcus in Brazil, like that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna call it comeback, I guess, 50-50. But yeah, it's been good. It's been fun, and I'm happy to wrap it up with a podium.
Fastest lap 2 as well, so
yeah,
get that extra point. So,
yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Got my first fastest lap of the season at the start. Got my final at the end.
Not bad at all. KD, do you have anything to ask?
I don't think so. Other than that, really. Other than just congratulations on your back-to-back championships in the league. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Accomplishment, I should say. That was very good. Good from you.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thanks.
But one final question for you. Actually, two, now that I think about it. First of all, that's done. Well, you got one more race that needs doing. This championship's over. You'll be looking forward to a break?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the break. I'm just looking forward to, like not really worrying about a championship in a way, and not really worrying about like pacing myself on a Sunday afternoon and all that, and just doing a couple laps throughout the week in time trial. So yeah, it'll be nice, but I'm looking forward to next season also.
But with this season, you ended up getting 4 race wins plus 1 sprint race win at Miami.
Yeah.
How do you rate this season for yourself overall? Are you happy with yourself with your performances?
I'm gonna go 8.5.
Yeah.
Because there has been the good moments and there has been the pretty down moments. So like, the move I did on Costa in USA, like that might have been a bit too greedy for me in a sense, in like a way. Where we made the contact, the last race in Australia when I was just getting so unlucky with the, I wouldn't say, with the slower cars ahead, I'd say, like just getting unlucky with that, and having what happened in Britain with my pedals, because my pedal was just flickering insanely bad that race. It was nearly impossible to go through Luffield and Brooklands with it, but yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 because there's been highs and there's been lows.
Room for improvement, as there is usually.
There certainly is room for improvement, especially on my qualifying pace. Really need to trim that up a lot more.
Well, Marcus, congratulations, mate. A 2-time Drivers' Champion for the Elite Series.
Thanks, Lane.
Very proud moment for yourself.
You just called him Marcus, by the way.
Did I call him Marcus?
You did call him Marcus.
Did I call him Marcus? Man, I'm diving into the Murrayisms here. I'm making mistakes. I'm getting sloppy. I don't know, Marcus. Maybe you can make my prophecy come true next season, eh? And maybe the season after? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I wish I was the 2-time champion, but yeah. Credit to Ferrari Pro. He's done a great job.
Yeah, good season to you also, buddy.
I'm tired. I'm hungry. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
I haven't had dinner yet. I should really have dinner.
Yeah.
2-time champ, Ferrari Pro. GG's. Well done.
Thanks, Lane and KD. Thanks for the commentating all season. Thanks to Plebs also for hosting the lobbies and that. Shout out to my boy Toby. I know he was watching it. I told him to watch it, so there's a shout out, Toby. But thanks, bro. And another congrats to Marcus on P2. Well done, buddy. I'm looking forward to racing you again next season. Congrats to Pump on P3.
Oh, I'm hungry, KD.
I'm tired.
I have not had any dinner. Gotta wrap this up. Quick, smart.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
But no, one final thank you to KD as well. Stick with me throughout this whole season. So thank you very much for your assistance. Very much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. I had a great time commentating with you, Lane, so thank you very much for having me with you.
Well, I think with everything said and done, it is time for us to end this stream and end this, and end what has been another fantastic season of racing here on Race Spec Esports. I've been LaneEveringham. My co-commentator, as always, is KD1997. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, whenever that may be, it's goodbye.